Hi, welcome to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Rab Silwing Tarp. The Rab Silwing Tarp packs down small and I weigh it at 369 grams. That includes the guy lines, my aluminium sliders and also carabiners, so you can unclip the guy lines really easily if you want to. So 369 grams, packs down really small. So for 5 square meters of coverage, that's all you've got to get into your bag. Now you can see from the design, it is very much designed to be used with a bivy bag, and that be a freestanding bivy bag or a completely traditional just bivy bag, waterproof bag to cover your sleeping bag in. As you can see from the rear of the tarp, there are 3 pegging out points and they peg out directly to the ground. Now obviously you can add, like I have, some guy lines if you wanted to have a bit more flexibility, if you wanted to perhaps pitch this slightly raised with a second trekking pole and have it pegged down, have a bit more airflow. That's absolutely something you could do. But the basic design for the easy quick pitch is to have it low to the ground at the back and rise into the front using a single trekking pole. Now obviously if you wanted to get this a little bit more protected from the rain, you could pin the 2 corners to the ground as well if you wanted to, or you can have them like they are now out on a little guy line just to give it a little bit more height and flexibility. But obviously you can drop the pole and you can lower it right down to give yourself storm protection from the side. In terms of materials, the Silwing is made of seal coated impregnated 30D ripstop Cordura fabric, so it is very strong, and you can see from the grid texture when you're looking at it that it's got that ripstop built in, so if you do get a small tear it shouldn't just rip the length of the seam or the material, it should be stopped quite quickly. So it is very light and obviously packs down very small, but it should be strong. In terms of waterproof, it should be pretty waterproof, but again these seams are not sealed but they are double stitched and sort of folded over, so they should be pretty water resistant. And I imagine this is a sort of tarp you might use as a sort of like a slight emergency shelter and stuff, so you could seam seal that central seam if you wanted to. So the corner guy line points are actually reinforced with Hypalon, whatever that is, but it sounds impressive. So I weighed the tarp at 369 grams, and that includes my aluminium sliders and carabiners, and there are 7 pegging out points, so there are currently 7 carabiners on there, and there are 6 aluminium sliders and 6 guy lines. I've not bothered putting a guy line on the very back one because I've got other guy lines which I could clip onto it. So the only thing you've got to add onto that 369 grams is pegs. Obviously a lot of manufacturers of this kind of tarp don't provide pegs with them because they assume you're going to want to choose your own. So there's no point in me suggesting how much your pegs are going to weigh, because it's entirely down to what pegs you would use with this tarp. So that's all you've got to add onto that 369 grams is just 7 pegs to make sure it's nice and stable and pegged out properly. When it comes to internal space, I'm about 5'11", and my feet are not very close to the edge there, but obviously the edge, the bottom of the tarp is very low to the ground, so you might be sort of coming into regular contact with it if you sort of lie too far down. You could lie a bit diagonally, but if you're lying straight on, you've got plenty of room either side of you for gear and stuff. So if you were going for an ultralight shelter, you could just have a ground sheet and a sleeping bag, or you could just have a waterproof sleeping bag cover, or a full-on sort of waterproof bivy just to chuck your sleeping bag into. And then you are looking at a really lightweight setup, and a setup that should be pretty robust as well. Obviously if it's weather is bad, like I said, you could drop the 2 front guy lines and just peg them to the ground, lower the trekking pole height, and have a really sleek shelter. So as long as the wind was behind or sort of crossed not too far from the sides, as long as it wasn't coming head on, you should be pretty watertight and pretty sheltered. And again, because you can really dip that profile quite low and it's got 7 pegging out points, it should be pretty good in the wind. Another great lightweight option to keep yourself comfortable from bugs and still packing small is something like this, the Outdoor Research Bug Bivy. I weigh this on my scales at 330 grams. That includes the little plastic hoot pole, but no pegs, so it'll take a peg at the front and 2 pegs at the back, which I haven't bothered putting in for this video. So you just need the 3 pegs to give it a little bit of tension so that you can happily unzip it, get in and out and stuff. So this bug bivy and this tarp together would make a really good lightweight combination. So you're looking at just over 700 grams for the pair, but packed down really small, and obviously a pretty sturdy, and it's a pretty spacious shelter as well. So you can see from that it's a reasonable size bivvy, so you've got plenty of room for a decent wide sleep mat. You've got enough room for a decent sleeping bag, and you've got a little bit of space at the top. And when it's pegged down properly, the top does have a sort of mini little bathtub effect, but that's not continued down the length of it. So it is very much a dry weather kind of bivvy, although obviously the bottom is going to be fairly waterproof. So yeah, you can see from this kind of fairly generous sized bivvy how much space you've got either side. So plenty of room for boots, plenty of room for backpack, and obviously I'd imagine if you were going on this kind of camp, you wouldn't have a massive backpack anyway, which is why you'd be packing small and light. So yeah, you'd have absolutely tons of space, and obviously if the weather's good and you can pitch with a nice view in front of you, you just look out and have that complete freedom, and you should even be able to see the stars as well. And depending on the weather, you can always move the bivvy bag out of the shelter slightly to get those 100% star views. In terms of price, Rab, I think prices at about £99. I've seen it live about £84.99. However, it seems to be absolutely out of stock everywhere, and I couldn't find it on the Rab website on the tarp, so I don't know if it's actually been discontinued. But it was definitely for sale last year, so it seems odd. It might just be down to supply issues. Maybe it's the type of material that's used, having trouble getting hold of it, whatever. But it is something you can definitely look out for used. Now, I actually picked this up used with the Outdoor Research bug bivvy for £95 off of eBay in absolutely mint condition. I don't think the Outdoor Research bug bivvy had ever even actually been used. So it is certainly something worth looking at if you can find it second hand. And who knows, Rab may bring it back in to back on sale in the future. So my first thoughts on the tarp are that it's a really good bit of kit. Packs down really small. It's really light. It's really easy to pitch as well, and you'd have a lot of confidence if you pitched the right way that it would handle a bit of bad weather. So I'm definitely going to use it in the summer, and it may end up replacing perhaps some of my trekking pole tent. I may just prefer to go lighter and have the easier setup of this and the flexibility that it provides. Obviously with this kind of tarp, it is very much designed to be pitched this way, to be pitched low to the ground. Again, you can pin this right down if you wanted a bit of extra weather protection, but it's very much designed to just have a bivvy inside it. It's not really designed to be a sort of multifunctional tarp that you can pitch in all sorts of different directions. I mean, obviously you could experiment with the pegging out points and stuff, but if you just want a nice, simple, easy pitch for a bivvy or just a sleeping bag to go under, then I don't think you can go wrong with this design. It's a really nice bit of kit. Well, there we have it. That was the Silwing Tarp by Rab. Hope the video has been interesting and been useful to you if you've been looking at one yourself or you found one used and want to find out a bit more about it. Hopefully this has given you a good look around it and shown roughly what it can do and roughly what it's about. Obviously, if you enjoyed the video, do drop it a like. If you enjoy this kind of gear review, then do subscribe to the channel as well. But huge thanks for watching, you've made it this far, and I'll catch you in the next one.